Welcome back, welcome back. Figured I go ahead and start making some geo in between pops. So here I am at my FC house and crafting away, you know, making some money here. Got my one button get rich scheme going on right now. Get my hustle on, crafting between pops of PvP. And then we got raid in about an hour. Happy Friday. Oops, messing those two in a time. Got like 14-minute pops for melee, it seems. So I'm almost 70 barred, and then I can start switching it up a little bit. I'm not sure what other job I'm going to level this season. I think barred was the one. So now I'll start focusing on, you know, ranking up and things. 69 now. I'll probably end up going through the story after raids tonight. Oh man. I don't know if I'm gonna HQ this one. Oh, I did. Nice. So that's what's going on. Start off the weekend. Get the stories done for not only my bard. I need to actually do the story for my leatherworker. But I'm gonna do that later on. After I go through some of these mats I have. Get some items up. Okay, now I gotta go. Oops. Gotta go normal boards now. I gotta get some more. I'll come in a minute. Do 6 more of these. Cool, we're gonna execute all that shit too. Alright, let's see how we do. Groups of people. This Hiller's like clearly pretty new, I guess. Never know. Never know what you're gonna get. Try to get the herd down, see if we can even play around a little bit. Fucking got my shields up. Fucking still not hitting. She got 900 healings, so it's not happening no matter how much we're gonna do. It's got like 9,000 something fucking MP. Fuck. I'm laying over stacking. Damn it. I'm down here no overstack like I'm I can help turn this bitch around right now. No, motherfucker, kill this bitch right now. Are you kidding me? Who are they fucking after right now? Fucking idiots, dude. Who the fuck are they after? Are they not after the fucking one I'm on? Dude, this is the weakest target, dude. Kill it. What the fuck are they doing? Did the best I could. Oh well. That's that. We tried. Take test this stuff out as I go here. Gotta make this gill. Spent a shit load on my my warrior. 325 now with the 340 gear, but since everybody's doing direct hit, I had to redo everything, and so that puts me at 323, but everything's direct hit. Pentameld on most of it, on some of it. Like a quad meld on all of it at least, but some of it. I would still need like 4 more pieces to be pentameld, but still pretty good. Just need one more slot for pentameld, but work in progress. So I gotta get my gill back up while it's still good. But yeah, I noticed a big difference in the direct hit for now, for this, at least until 4.2. So that's cool. Gets things done. I was able to make majority of these high quality except for one. That's pretty good. My macro. It's going up for 1800, so that's not too bad. See what we can do, stacking this stuff up. A little under. I don't sell them like 10 at a time or something. See what the history of how many people are selling at a time. They're selling like 12 at a time there. Okay, that's cool. 10 is good. Do that. that stuff so fast. Of course, it pops right when I get into my thing. That sucks. I think I gotta quit it. Let's see if the timer. Too short. Takes too long. Of course it pops right when I freaking go into the crowd. Oh well. Go back up. Alright, I gotta review a vid real quick before the raid.
Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for the Deltascape version 3.0 Savage. If you've made it this far, you're totally ready for playtime with Halicarnassus. This video assumes you have a basic understanding of the mechanics on normal mode, and will instead focus on the changes to Savage difficulty. My name is Ms. Tech, and I'll be your raid guide. Tanks and healers will need to watch for critical hit throughout the encounter. As the name implies, this is an extremely high damage critical hit on the main tank, and the use of heavy cooldowns and awareness is key. Spellblade Holy will mark up players in a specific manner. 2 players will be affected by these circle Holy edge markers and tethered together. 1 player will be affected by the stack up Holy blur marker and tethered to another player affected by a circle Holy edge marker. The remaining 4 players will have no markers. The boss will then cast Pole Shift. This will cause any tethered players to be stunned for a short while and swap positions and markers with their tethered partners. Immediately after, the effects of Holy Edge and Holy Blur will go off on the respective players. To handle this, we have the 2 tethered players with Holy Edge move away from the group. Where they move doesn't really matter, as long as they're not overlapping with any other players. Then, the Holy Edge player tethered to the stack up Holy Blur player will stay on the boss, stacked together with the players without markers, while the stack up player moves away. Once Pole Shift goes off, the stack up Holy Blur marker will be swapped onto the boss, where everyone is already stacked together and waiting, while the Holy Edge marker is moved safely out of the group. The 2 tethered Holy Edge markers will swap positions as well, but since they're off on their own already, there's no danger in overlapping damage. The Queen's Waltz is next. On these neutral tiles, this ability shoots out high damage blades at each player. There is no telegraph, and players will need to assign positions around the boss to ensure they are not overlapping. You'll need to be ready to use this positioning throughout the encounter, so learn your spot relative to the boss and stick to it. Haste will grant the boss a 6-second haste buff. This is usually followed by one of 3 possible elemental spells. Spellblade Thunder 3 is a long column attack on a random player. Spellblade Fire 3 is a large donut-shaped AoE, and Spellblade Blizzard 3 is the point-blank AoE circle attack. Players will need to be ready to avoid all of these attacks as they occur throughout the encounter. Dimensional Wave is a heavy-hitting raid-wide AoE. Healers will need to shield and heal through this as necessary. The playing field will create 6 new tiles on the ground with roll markers on them. The boss will then cast Oink. To avoid getting turned into a pig, players need to stack together with at least 1 other person. If you do get turned into a pig, you won't be able to stand in the proper tile and you will die. After stacking for Oink, players can move into their appropriate tiles before she casts the game. Next up comes the first panel swap. The tiles will change to flower and briar tiles in one of 2 orientations. Briar tiles will slow and deal damage to you and should be avoided. The briar tiles will only form in 2 opposite corners, creating a diagonal flower section to work with throughout this phase. During this panel phase, the Queen's Waltz will apply thorny vine tethers on all players. If you don't break your thorns quickly, they will begin to apply stacking vulnerability up debuffs and deal high damage. The tanks and healers will be tethered to damage dealers, and as such, you can easily assign a direction for each group of players to run to, allowing you to quickly and easily break your thorns. For example, our tanks and healers run towards the safe corner in the north, while our damage dealers run towards the safe corner in the south. As soon as the Thorny Vines apply, the boss will also cast Spellblade Fire 3. However, since each player is already moving to the opposite corners to break their vines, this should be naturally and easily avoided. Next up is another haste buff and a Spellblade Thunder 3. Avoid this as necessary. The second critical hit on the main tank is next. Cool down and heal through this as necessary. Heal through the next dimensional wave and then get ready for the first place token. In this phase, place token will spawn a white flame ad that should be picked up by the off tank and moved away from the boss as soon as possible. This ad does a fair amount of damage to its primary target, so healers and off tank beware. Periodically, the ad will cast white wind in a very large circle around it. Should this hit the boss, it will heal her for a ridiculous amount and essentially ensure a wipe to the enraged timer. To avoid this, we pull the boss towards the safe corner in the north, while the ad is taken towards the south, and focus down as quickly as possible. The main tank will have to deal with another haste buff and a Spellblade Blizzard 3 during this time. Dodge it as necessary. Next up, Mindjack will place a specific directional debuff on each player in the group that lasts 13 seconds. Once the duration of the debuff ends, each player will be forced to march in the direction specified by their Mindjack debuff. While this timer is counting down, the boss will jump back to the center and begin to cast another Queen's Waltz and Spellblade Fire 3 combo. This will coincide with the end of each player's debuff timer, so all players will need to position themselves in such a way as to be forced by Mindjack into the direction of their assigned corners to break their thorns and dodge the fire.
See if I can make this one. There we go. See what we can do.
was all a dream.
Healer gonna get the damn thing, or is he just gonna let it sit there? Fuck the healer doing? Fuck. Alright, damn it. Monk ended up with me.
Okay.
What's up? Yeah, sorry, I'm in a match right now. I'm almost out though. I'll stop it up in a minute. Yeah, I fucking pulled it off in the end. So that's cool. That was interesting. I think I got the kill at the end too. It's all good. Alright. Let me get the party finder going. How's it going? Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Let me refresh. Alright. Hey, I just refreshed. Can you hear me now? I'm gonna get party finder going. Hey, welcome back. Can you hear me now? Hey, welcome back. I can hear myself, so it must be working. Alright, so I got party finder up. Same password. I think you're trying to talk, but I don't hear anything now. Or at least I hear the background. I hear your background, but I don't hear you.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. There you go.
Okay.
What's up?
Well, I could hear myself. Like, not hear myself, but I saw my little voice thing popping up there, but never saw you talking.
Oh, no, I've been talking. I don't know if you've been hearing me, though.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well, I got a party finder up. Let's see who all comes through. I'm gonna send a little letter to everybody I see online. Lucifer is gonna like bow out for now because he has too much going on. So maybe she'll come back sometime when she gets, you know, stable.
I mean, what? Merrick? Oh.
Mink. Mink. Lucifer Mink. That's what she goes by. So far we have 4 I see online. So I hit up the
Me?
other. Yeah, we have 4 people that I see online so far. So I'm gonna hit them up.
Okay.
And then we'll see who all pops in the next 25 minutes. How's your day going?
It's going good. Just making money.
Yeah, I've been doing that in between pops now, so that's pretty cool. Something new.
How's the money going for you?
It's good, you know, anywhere from 20 to 50K every hour or so,
Yeah.
you know, around there. So it's not
That's
bad.
pretty,
In between pops
you
is
know,
better than what I was doing. It's more consistent at least, you know what I mean?
it's decent, you know.
Consistent flow is better than no flow, and it's something I could do in between pops. So while we're waiting, I'll probably just craft like you and stuff. It's pretty cool. I like
That's
it.
all I do is I just sit here and craft and chat.
So that's how you're making 6 million a day. You probably do other stuff too, right? That's good though. It's good stuff. I never really took advantage of it as much as I should, so now I am. So I'm gonna take some time to watch the video, so I'll probably mute myself for a little bit just so I can watch the video. It's like 15 minutes long, so I recommend watching it before 12:30.
What?
The video MTQ. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
This is one I do recommend you actually watch because it's so long and there's so many details. So I'm gonna
I will
share it
actually
with you.
watch this one. Trying to figure out what I'm gonna cook for dinner.
I'm gonna put that in the media sharing for the thing, or actually just the rate sharing, so everybody can watch.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna make some sort of like stew soup thingy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Just trying to. I might make chicken soup. I'm gonna go throw some chicken in a pot really fast and start
Alright.
boiling it.
No
One
worries.
sec.
You got time. I'm gonna watch this show. I'll be AFK on that.
Cool down and heal through this as necessary. Heal through the next dimensional wave and then get ready for the first place token. In this phase, place token will spawn a white flame ad that should be picked up by the off tank and moved away from the boss as soon as possible. This ad does a fair amount of damage to its primary target, so healers and off tank beware. Periodically, the ad will cast white wind in a very large circle around it. Should this hit the boss, it will heal her for a ridiculous amount and essentially ensure a wipe to the enraged timer. To avoid this, we pull the boss towards the safe corner in the north while the ad is taken towards the south and focus down as quickly as possible. The main tank will have to deal with another haste buff and a Spellblade Blizzard 3 during this time. Dodge it as necessary. Next up, Mindjack will place a specific directional debuff on each player in the group that lasts 13 seconds. Once the duration of the debuff ends, each player will be forced to march in the direction specified by their Mindjack debuff. While this timer is counting down, the boss will jump back to the center and begin to cast another Queen's Waltz and Spellblade Fire 3 combo. This will coincide with the end of each player's debuff timer, so all players will need to position themselves in such a way as to be forced by Mindjack into the direction of their assigned corners to break their thorns and dodge dodge the fire 3 as necessary. An easy and visual way to ensure proper positioning is to point the arrow of your debuff marker in the direction of your safe corner. Healers will need to heal through another dimensional wave, and then the next panel swap occurs. This panel swap will bring up the familiar blue and black tiles. Place token will spawn a great dragon that should be picked up by the off tank and destroyed as soon as possible. Make sure to keep it facing away from the raid to avoid cleaving everyone with frost breath. In this panel phase, the Queen's Waltz will do raid-wide damage and cause the black tiles to explode, dealing high damage and debuffing anyone in them. To avoid this, all players will need to position themselves on top of the blue tiles. Immediately after, she'll turn to a random player and cast Ribbit. This is a huge frontal cone, and players will need to quickly move behind her to avoid it. Getting frogged here is fairly detrimental, as it lasts much longer on Savage mode. Healers will need to handle another dimensional wave and another critical hit on the main tank. Tanks, don't forget to use your cooldowns. Next up, Place Dark token will spawn a number of Soul Reaper adds around the outer edge of the platform and one in the center, right on top of the boss. The adds on the outer edge The ad is taken towards the south and focused down as quickly as possible. The main tank will have to deal with another haste buff and a Spellblade Blizzard 3 during this time. Dodge it as necessary. Next up, Mindjack will place a specific directional debuff on each player in the group that lasts 13 seconds. Once the duration of the debuff ends, each player will be forced to march in the direction specified by their Mindjack debuff. While this timer is counting down, the boss will jump back to the center and begin to cast another Queen's Waltz and Spellblade Fire 3 combo. This will coincide with the end of each player's debuff timer, so all players will need to position themselves in such a way as to be forced by Mindjack into the direction of their assigned corners to break their thorns and dodge the Fire 3 as necessary. An easy and visual way to ensure proper positioning is to point the arrow of your debuff marker in the direction of your safe corner. Healers will need to heal through another dimensional wave, and then the next panel swap occurs. This panel swap will bring up the familiar blue and black tiles. Place token will spawn a great dragon that should be picked up by the off tank and destroyed as soon as possible. Make sure to keep it facing away from the raid to avoid cleaving everyone with frost breath. In this panel phase, the Queen's Waltz will do raid-wide damage and cause the black tiles to explode, dealing high damage and debuffing anyone in them. To avoid this, all players will need to position themselves on top of the blue tiles. Immediately after, she'll turn to a random player and cast Ribbit. This is a huge frontal cone, and players will need to quickly move behind her to avoid it. Getting frogged here is fairly detrimental, as it lasts much longer on Savage mode. Healers will need to handle another dimensional wave and another critical hit on the main tank. Tanks, don't forget to use your cooldowns. Next up, Place Dark token will spawn a number of Soul Reaper adds around the outer edge of the platform and one in the center, right on top of the boss. The adds on the outer edge will cast Gusting Gouge and rush across the platform in a straight line, rendering any tiles they're facing unsafe, while the add in the middle will cast a large point-blank circle AoE. At the same time, the boss will cast the Queen's Waltz. The timing of all of these mechanics at once allows for only one blue tile being a safe zone. Players will need to quickly determine which of the 4 blue tiles aren't being rushed by any of the Soul Reapers and move into that safe zone before the cast goes off. Getting hit by any of the outer adds will knock back, do high damage, and place a vulnerability up and damage down debuff on you. Immediately after, the boss will cast Haste and another of the 3 Spellblade AoE attacks. Dodge this as appropriate. Another dimensional wave to heal through, and the panels will swap once more. In this library phase, you'll notice 4 glowing book tiles in the north and the south, and 8 empty tiles in the middle. Standing in a glowing book tile will consume the glowing book and give the player a specific vulnerability down buff. This will be used for a mechanic later on, and players should be careful to avoid consuming these books until that time. In this panel phase, the Queen's Waltz will call down folio books on any tile occupied by a player. These books are exactly the size of a tile and deal a high amount of damage. Should players overlap their books, they will die. To handle this, all players will need to stand in their very own tile during the Queen's Waltz. To facilitate this, we assign one of the 8 tiles to each player and spread out appropriately in anticipation of this attack. Healers will also need to heal through the folio damage as quickly as possible. Next up, another Oink cast. Players will need to immediately stack together to avoid getting pigged. The next place token will spawn a weird looking panda. The off tank will need to pick this up immediately while everyone else destroys him as fast as possible. This ad can deal a fair fair amount of extra damage on your off tank, and destroying him quickly can take some of the stress off of your healers. The ad will cast Magic Hammer, which will spawn massive AoE circles under every player. This happens at the same time that the boss begins to cast another Queen's Waltz. Since there is very little room to work with in your 8 tiles, we have players bait these Magic Hammer circles in specific areas to create enough room to dodge the AoE while still staying in their respective tiles for the Queen's Waltz. Each melee player will stand in the center corners of their tiles in an attempt to stack their Magic Hammer circles as closely to the middle as possible. The ranged and healers will bait their Magic Hammer circles as close to the outer corners as possible. This should allow each player enough space to dodge the AoE circles, but still remain within their respective tiles. Even when done correctly, there is a lot of ray damage going out, so healers be ready. Immediately after, the boss will cast Squelch. This is a gaze attack that will turn anyone it hits into an imp. Players will need to avoid this by turning away from the boss. Another dimensional wave to heal through, and another critical hit on the tank. Shield, heal, and use cooldowns as necessary. One more dimensional wave to heal through again, and then players need to prepare for Spellblade Holy. In this phase, Spellblade Holy will mark up 2 players with stack-up Holy Blur markers, 4 players with the red circle Holy Edge markers, and 2 players with nothing. This is where the glowing books come in. Since obviously there aren't enough free players to share the damage of the 2 stack-up attacks, we need some buffs to help us out. The glowing blue books with the floating diamond pattern will apply a magic vulnerability up buff for 8 seconds to the first person that touches one, while the glowing green books with the floating shield pattern applies a physical vulnerability up buff. Both types of glowing books will also apply out of action debuffs on players for 8 seconds, meaning players will be unable to perform any actions during this time. To handle all of this, the players with the red Holy Edge circle markers will each grab a green book and then hang out until all the attacks go off. The stack-up Holy Blur marker players and the players with no markers will each get a blue book, and then pair up to share the damage of each Holy Blur attack. The difficulty here comes in the fact that the boss is also casting Queen's Waltz during this time, and each player needs to make sure they're alone on their own tile to avoid folio overlap. The stack-up Holy Blur pairs will need to be very careful to each stand on their own tiles, while at the same time close enough to be considered stacked enough to share the damage. There is again a ton of raid damage going out at this time, and remember that healers will be out of action for a few seconds after all of these attacks go out. You'll need to top everyone off as quickly as possible since the boss will cast another dimensional wave directly after. Next up comes the final panel swap. You'll notice that this floor has tiles from each phase you've seen so far. This is where it gets interesting. The boss will begin by casting the Playing Field. This will spawn 2 frog tiles, 2 imp tiles, and 2 pig tiles. Immediately after, the boss will cast the 3 abilities that can turn players into these 3 forms. Once all 3 attacks are out, she'll cast the Game, and all the animal tiles must be filled appropriately by at least 1 player each, or you will probably wipe. Furthermore, if you're standing on the wrong tile, you will die. To handle this, we assign specific players to transform at specific times. To maximize DPS uptime, you can have the healers get transformed by the first cast, the tanks transformed by the second cast, and the damage dealers transformed by the final cast. Since the order of each form cast can vary, each group will need to be ready to handle each cast in turn. Being in one animal form does not make you immune to any other transformations, so be careful not to mess yourself up, or you can use it to your advantage if you do mess up early. Once all 3 attacks go off, players can move to their respective tiles in preparation for the game cast. Next up, the boss will jump to a specific tile and cast the Queen's Waltz. Depending on which tile she's standing on, the Queen's Waltz will have its respective effect. If she's on a book tile, make sure you're all alone in your assigned tile. If she's on a briar tile, stack together in the center and then move to your respective corners to break your vines as quickly as possible. If she's on the blue tile, make sure you are also on a blue tile to avoid the tile explosions. If she's on a neutral tile, spread around her in your assigned positions to avoid overlapping that saber damage. Since this can vary every time, players need to be extra vigilant in watching her movement and being ready to react appropriately. I'd also recommend repositioning the boss as close to the center whenever possible during this phase, to facilitate pre-positioning for each Queen's Waltz variation. Next up, another Spellblade Holy and Pole Shift combo. This is the same as the first combo and is handled in the same manner. The red Holy Edge circle pairs will move away, while the lone Holy Edge player stacks on the boss with the free players, and their stack-up Holy Blur partner runs away. Next up is a critical hit on the tank. Cooldown and heal as necessary. Immediately after, another Mindjack cast occurs. Players should acknowledge what direction their Mindjack debuff will force them in and keep it in mind for the upcoming combo of mechanics. The boss will cast Place Dark Token and summon a number of Soul Reaper adds around the platform. The Soul Reaper adds in the corners will cast Gusting Gouge again and rush in a straight line. Their orientation makes every single tile on the outer edge unsafe. The center Soul Reaper ad will cast a large point-blank AoE circle in the middle of the room. 4 other Soul Reaper ads will tether to 4 players. At the end of their casts, the tethered ads will deal damage to their players based on proximity. Remember that all players have to deal with Mindjack right before all of these attacks go off. This can be pretty confusing at first glance, so let's break it down slowly. Due to the trajectories of the outer Soul Reaper ads, we know that every single outer tile is not safe. That means players only have these 4 middle tiles to work with. However, since the middle Soul Reaper ad is hogging most of this area with his circle AoE, the safe zones are actually limited to the outer corners of these 4 middle tiles. There's not a lot of room to work with, but fortunately you don't need a lot. Now, if you're not tethered to an ad, you have it easy, since all you have to do during Mindjack is position yourself to end up in a safe zone. As long as you're not sprinting, the duration of Mindjack will take your character about the length of 2 tiles. As such, you can position yourself in one corner and then face your character in such a way that Mindjack walks your character across to the next corner. Nice and simple. If you are a tethered player, you need to take into account the position of your Soul Reaper ad. The end goal is to end up the furthest possible distance or kitty corner from your ad. If you have a left or right Mindjack, you can accomplish this by moving to the corner directly across from your ad and then facing your character to move to the opposite corner during Mindjack. If you have forward or about face, you can move to your ad and then position yourself to move diagonally across the center to your safe corner. You'll have a few seconds to make some fine adjustments to your positioning once Mindjack runs out and before the Soul Reaper attacks go out. Once these attacks are out, the boss will leap to a new tile and cast the Queen's Waltz again. Players need to quickly determine what tile she's on and then prepare to handle its respective variation of the Queen's Waltz as necessary. Healers will need to heal through another dimensional wave here. The boss will then cast Haste and 2 AoE attacks in succession. Dodge these attacks as necessary. Another dimensional wave to heal through, and then the next Place Token. This will spawn 1 Iron Giant in the east and 6 Ninja ads in the west. Have one tank grab the Iron Giant while the other grabs the group of ninjas. The Iron Giant should be faced away from the raid to avoid cleaving everyone. Periodically, he will cast Overheat in an attempt to buff himself. Luckily, this can be silenced. During this time, the boss will cast Haste 3 on herself, which will give her a longer haste buff for about 33 seconds. She will then cast Dimensional Wave 4 times in a row. All players should focus down these ads as quickly as possible, using cooldowns and limit breaks as necessary. Healers will have to keep everyone topped off during this heavy raid-wide damage. Once all 4 Dimensional Wave casts have gone off, the boss will leap to a tile and cast the Queen's Waltz. Again, position yourselves appropriately based on what tile she's standing on. Next up, another Spellblade AoE to dodge, another dimensional wave to heal through, and another critical hit on the tank. Don't forget your cooldowns. Another leap to a tile, and another Queen's Waltz. Position yourself appropriately based on what variation of Queen's Waltz attack is coming. The next Spellblade Holy is the familiar markers and tethers. Handle these in the same manner as before. Another critical hit on the tank, and the next Mindjack cast will go off. The boss will cast Place Dark Token, and the Soul Reaper ads will spawn again. This Mindjack and Soul Reaper combo is handled in the same way the first one was. Position yourself accordingly to avoid the AoEs and be as far away from your ad if you're tethered. Another leap to a random tile, and another Queen's Waltz. By now, you should know exactly what to do. Shortly after, another dimensional wave to heal through, and another haste and double AoE combo. Dodge these as necessary. There is one last dimensional wave before the boss casts her final playing field and rage. Animal tiles will appear, but the boss won't give you a chance to turn into anything, and instead cast the game immediately, wiping the raid. This fight is all about practice and reacting to each mechanic quickly and efficiently. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Up next, we'll head into the Deltascape version 4.0 Savage. As always, thanks for watching.
Alright, I got it. So we're gonna get into this here. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so Ash says he can't make it because he didn't get there, and I haven't heard anything from Merrick. I'm send him a personal message and see what's going on with him. He hasn't been here for a few days, and he's supposed to be back from his vacation, so if either he's gonna show up or not, I don't know.
Oh,
So
just
we'll
comment shit down, and if not, we can just pug all that crap.
Yep, that's basically what we'll do.
Yep. I just picked up a whole bunch of stuff to make a white chicken chili.
Mhm. Oh, nice.
With
I
sweet potatoes.
like chicken. Chicken's good.
Chicken chili with sweet potatoes. Yummy.
Nice. Hmm. I don't know what's going on with my controller. All of a sudden, it started to slow down there. That was weird. Yeah, we can definitely learn from a PUG party. So, how would you like to be officially co-lead on this one? Since you've been able to help me get people and stuff, and then Lucifer bowed out today. So, would that be something of interest?
I kind of thought I already was. No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I was trying to make it official. So it's all good. I can.
No, I'm good with whatever you want me to do. You know, I'm not gonna like run the raid or anything like that, but I'll help. I always help.
Yeah, that's good. So also have some consistent people helping put things together, like start the party up if I happen to not be around. All right, so I'll put you there.
I ain't gonna do that shit. That takes work.
That's cool. You don't have to, but that's cool. I'll put you in that position then, because we need some consistency.
I'm definitely consistent.
Yep, that is true. All right, so we'll go from there. Congrats.
No, see, you know these people. I don't know these people. Like, I can't even remember the raid besides a diva. And that nightmare or never person. Like, those are the only two people I really remember.
Yeah, I just put them all in the thing here, so it's easy to see them. If you're looking at
I can't see it. It doesn't work that way on my phone.
Oh no, you don't see them? Okay, no worries.
Nope.
That's all good. That's how I know. There's whoever is in it. Now, you know, I'll update that as they go.
Is that never person gonna come?
Never person. Let me see if he's on.
Seem like a solid type person.
I don't see him online right now. Let me see if I got a direct message from him. Never, like never, Nabber, that one?
No, never. It's like never something. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what? Is he on your friends list? You can send him a message. He's not on mine.
I don't think he's on my friends list. I don't.
Yeah,
Maybe
so I don't know.
he is. Maybe. I think I messaged him like once.
Let's see. Yeah, I can check that. Yeah, I don't have any.
Mighty Killa Tez.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
Yep, Mighty Killa Tez.
All right. Well, he's not. I don't know if he's online because I don't see him on the Discord. So maybe he's not. You can send a message if you like.
I just sent him a message.
Cool. I'm gonna put it up in party in the open party finder here right now, so we can fill up. Oh, you can jump in first though, so that way you're in the party.
I'm doing my astrology quests.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So when you jump in, I'll put it up, so that way we'll have that already set up.
Yeah, and I've been leveling my white mage.
Nice.
Because astrology and AoE heals are not as mana efficient as white mage AoE heals.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. This will be all practice today, so prepare for a lot of death, basically. As we go through
problem with a lot of death. You know me, I don't give a shit if I die. Damn these cutscenes. Skip it. I said skip. Okay. East meets west. Yeah, I did that. When I was playing Astrologian, I did it without any of my extra skills. You know,
Oh, that's
only
cool.
the moves that I get at 60.
Oh, so you went and did your quest to get the skills you needed?
No, that's what I'm doing right now. I
Oh,
ain't done that shit.
that's what I'm saying, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good. It's important. Some of them, some of them you don't have to fight. I don't know if you have to fight all of them. So,
Her.
but some of them you do, I think.
Ride like the wind.
So which quest are you on now? Which level? Let me ask and see if people want to join. I don't know if anybody really gets that. I don't know if anybody in my list is gonna be up here. We'll see. I'm gonna ask that.
I don't think I can do these quests if I join the party thingy.
Oh yeah. Some of them you can. Just the ones you have to fight, you would have to drop and then jump back in. So it's just for me to put up the party finder. That's all.
Yeah. Wait a second. Because I'm doing one of the fighting ones right now.
Oh no worries. I know what you're talking about though. Good luck. No worries. I'm still crafting. And
You addict.
we are.
No, I'm an addict. I just sit here and craft all day.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. Something to do in between instead of sitting there and waiting for pops. Only problem is that sometimes it pops right when you start a craft, and the timer is just so close to the end of that. It's hard to switch and change and stuff. I might have to come up with a macro button just to switch from get that real quick or something.
She said she never won't be on until later. He volunteered for overtime at work.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I thought I marked him, but I guess not. Next time, maybe.
I said, if we're still going, come talk to us.
Cool. Let's see if this guy is ready to start raiding yet. This guy named Razel, I'm trying to get him in the thing. He's in our raid, my raid list, but he hasn't been raiding. I'm gonna remove a few other people that haven't been raiding too from it. I'm just gonna have people that are actually gonna raid in it. Oops, do that. And if they want, if these other guys want to raid, I'll invite them when they're ready to actually raid. I'm just looking at the people that are raiding.
What are you muttering about?
I'm looking at updating my raid LS, basically, that's all.
Oh.
For people that are actually raiding. So now I have 4 that actually have rated or interested in raiding still, or 5 of myself from our server, then the rest are from other servers like you and other villains. So it's updated. Let me know when you want. I'm gonna put the party finder up when you're, or actually it should be up right now, the raid finder, I think. Yeah. So jump in when you're ready. And I'll just it.
Oh, I'm
No worries.
turning in a couple more quests.
Oh, okay, gotcha. What
Just
quest?
in case I have to play Astrology, and I might as well have all the moves.
Oh yeah, that's important. Yeah, this one's gonna
I don't
be.
really want to play Astrology.
You did good. You did good. You got the win. So
Because
which quest are you on? I was just wondering. Like
come rain or shine.
which level is that one?
Like, I don't know what level that is even, but
Oh, it doesn't say.
it probably does, but I haven't looked yet.
Oh, no worries.
65.
Cool, you're halfway there. That's good. I was wondering.
Yeah, so I only got maybe a couple more quests.
Yeah, there's usually not too many. It's like probably one at 67, then it's like 69, and then the final one. So like 2 or 3 more.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm zipping through these pretty quick.
Oh, no worries. I guess we won't start looking for. We'll just plug it whenever you're ready. I'm just gonna craft until then. Or I might do some PvP pops then, in between while you're doing your thing.
Okay. What am I supposed to do? Test the barrier strength.
I think it's good that you get those done anyways.
Nocturnal sex. Use aspected benefic on that thing. I hate these duty things that like stick you in places. I can't stand it.
Oh, different things like that. 14 minutes for DPS pops. I probably should do my story too. You think about it. Let me see if I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna go run around doing my story as well for my bard. So spoiler alert for Twitch people. I'm recording too, so I'm recording all this broadcasting our runs. So let me see where I'm at on that. The bard quest. Where the hell do I start on that one? Let me look it up. Back to craft while I look it up.
Easterly Shrine? Where the fuck is the Easterly Shrine?
Let's see, I gotta look at my bard stuff, journals. See where I left off. That's,
There we go.
let's see. This job quest.
It's hard to sleep when my thoughts pull at my feet. Take me in your skin.
Traveled of Oblivion, that's the last one I did, okay.
Bones are so strong,
I gotta go back to Shroud. 21.
if I could be the one,
Okay.
could I see you when the sun goes?
I guess I'll go get this stuff. Oh, I got some EXP, I can get it. Sure, it's South Shroud. Let's see where to go from here. Oh, I forgot to grab them. Look. Let's grab. Okay, that's all around my companion.
Ah, there's the shrine.
Alright, now we're good. I think this might be it right here. Three's a company. I think that's was it. Let me see. Check, make sure. Yeah, three's a company. That's it. Over there. almost here for Bard. Might as well knock it out now that I'm almost 70. I think there's like little abilities I can get here. I probably haven't been using.
Look, man, I'm telling you right off the bat, I'm high maintenance, so I'm not gonna tiptoe around your marriage or whatever you have going there. If you want kids with me, you're with me.
Oh man, I hope Titan gets a big house in Kugain.
Yeah,
Like
there
one
you
of the
go.
large ones.
There you go. That'd be good. Have more space.
That's what I've always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I told him he didn't have to buy me one. But I told him he has to buy one. At least.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, he may still try to buy me one. Don't know.
Yeah, you never know. Never know. Let's see what's over here. Back in the old hood, I used to play Bard back in the day. I haven't been back here in a long time. It's like one of my first jobs, I think. On this is Bard. You know, these targets over here, they should actually let you target them. Like if you're a Bard, like they get these targets up and you can't even shoot at them. They should actually make a game out of this where you can actually shoot and do this. Doesn't make sense to actually have like these targets up and you can't even. Yeah, it's like see,
Yeah, it makes sense.
now that they have the new stuff where, you know, where you can do target stuff like this, they should implement it. At least there for something fun to do.
Oh, I hope it doesn't make me do anything in the locks because I can't fly there.
Mm. Oh yeah, I still need to get flight too. That's another thing I haven't done.
You know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna go get every single ether current in the locks except for one. Oh, that'd be perfect. So then, like, when we get married, and I'm like, let's go, and then it's just one, and I'm like, go, and I'm done. That'd be super trolly.
So I'm trying to blast through these things, I think. That's back this way. This is more back.
see. Oh, yay! This one's 70.
Oh, great. You're there. It's quick. Probably faster than me. Oh, that's right. You just you don't read none of the things. That's right.
Nope. I don't read shit.
I
Not
try to
gonna read
speed read
shit.
it a
Not
little
gonna watch
bit.
no damn videos. Nope. That's why I left Titan behind leveling. Yeah, because it would take him like half an hour to go through like a little piece of it, and I was like, zip, zip, zip. And then I was like at the next dungeon, and I was like, well, whenever you get to the next dungeon, just let me know, okay? And he's like, you're already there? I'm like, I don't watch videos. I don't watch cutscenes. I'm not gonna read that.
Yeah, some of the stories are interesting.
That's Dory Markets. Okay.
They're all pretty much the same. You know, go do this, that, and the other. And turn it in. So.
Hurry up and let me skip the damn video. Don't die.
Let's see. How's your questing going?
I'm on the 71. It's the last one.
Oh, nice, nice. That works.
Do these things.
Let's see where I gotta go here. Oh, it's like Garbella. Where the hell is that? Oh, that's back in the back in the hood, I think. There. Wow, that's interesting over there. I guess that is the extension.
Ugh, duty failed. Fuck this thing. I'll just start over. I hate those stupid duty bullshit crap. 1 sec. I have to go grab something.
No worries. Let's see. Let's see what unless I'm in here. Let's take a look. Okay. Which one is it? Grand Pulse? I've been in Grand Pulse. Oh, you know what? I could get rid of the fox and stuff. welcome back. I'm still going through the stories. Just getting back to some people's, some tales and stuff. I'm still doing mine. How's your store going?
Oh, fuck that. I'm not doing it again.
Well, you're already at the end, right? So you're already at the end.
I'm at the end, but those duty things piss me off.
Is it hard? Is it like a hard one? Are you saying it's hard or something? Go ahead and keep going for it. I mean, I'm good. I have a whole bunch of quests to do. I have to not only do the barred ones, and then I'm gonna buy all the materials for my my leatherworking ones, so I can have all my my weapon, so I can do better on high qualities. I think. So yeah, I got plenty of time. I mean, I'm not in a rush, and since nobody else has really showed up, so it's kind of like a pug weekend anyway. So when in a rush. I mean, other people are doing stuff. I don't know what Merrick's talking about. He's supposed to have been back, but he didn't get back. So that's one of the things that he keeps teasing about. Don't kick him, but he's not really coming back. I'm like, where is he at? I see him on Discord, but he ain't online. Must be still in vacation mode or something. So we'll see. But anyways, we'll get more people. See what we can do.
Alright, I'll try this. Wait, I'm gonna give myself I need to give myself cleric stance. It would have helped last time.
There you go. You can also watch a video. There might be a little strat to it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I do that. Like if it's a little challenge, I watch a video. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. Like, a little thing you can do.
Oh, I knew what they were doing. I just wasn't gonna do it.
Gotcha.
Yep, just walked away and stuck the chicken chili, all the ingredients together, and put it back in the pot. Now it's cooking.
That sounds good. You're gonna make me have to go make some dinner.
Oh, am I? Do my AoE cast right here. Yeah, this beginning part is super simple. It's like just kill the shit before it kills the people. The next part is you have to keep it from killing this one guy, which I should probably just focus target his ass.
Gotcha. It's good
So that
to
I don't have to like
work on it.
look at him very much. I wish you had an easy way of targeting focus targets. You know.
There's like macros. You can assign for like a thing. I think.
Yeah, but I don't want to like make a macro just so I can. I'm not gonna make a macro for something that I shouldn't even need a macro for.
Yeah, so I have it like whenever I pull, I focus target at the same time. So whenever I'm pulling, focus targeting as well.
Why do you need to focus target the boss? You're already gonna be looking at him the whole time.
So if like I switch to something else and I didn't pull it and I just need to take it a different way, I take it a different way. You know what I mean? I don't use the same pull I use for focus target. So that way I'm doing something like off take stuff. You know, I'll pull with a different thing. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
Or at least that's what I should
Kind
be
of.
doing. So that way I can still see what the main tank is doing on the boss. So I don't lose track of the stacks, and then I can do my off tank thing. You know what I mean? At least that's what I'll try to do. So like I'll pull with like ultimatum, focus target, and then I use AoEs for the off tick stuff instead of separate.
Okay, it's this part right up here. I'm going through this a lot faster than I was a minute ago.
There you go.
Just didn't know what to expect. Okay. And then it's kind of a pain in the ass. There's no way to like target these things.
Oh, I see.
There's an easy way to target these things and make it even easier.
Yeah, what I do is I have macros that auto face target. You know what I mean? It basically faces the target. It's pretty cool. I had to do this for all my jobs now because it'll face the target, but it
Because you
doesn't
got so used to it.
yeah. It'll face the target when you get ready to cast or whatever, but it doesn't lock on the target, so you can still turn away, so you don't get stuck with that kind of thing, right? So every time you hit a button, you're facing the target that you want to face, you know, because you target the person and you hit the button, and it automatically turns towards them. So sometimes if you're turned away and you're hitting the button, it doesn't work. You're like, fuck, this what the fuck, and you get off. That's how I was getting, and then I realized you just do a macro for everything you do, add face target to it, and you're Gucci. And then on top of that, focus target to the one that you pull with, right? And then the other ones that you do AoE with when you're attacking other stuff, you know, you just leave them without you know, focus target, so that way you always can keep an eye on anything. So that's what I would recommend if you wanted to integrate some macros. Those are kind of macros that make sense, you know. They don't. It doesn't matter the cooldown. You can use what's called a macro icon, and then you put in, it's called force class macro icon, and then the spell that you're using, so that way you still get the timer on it, you know, and it'll have the symbol and the timer with everything, so it looks exactly the same, you know what I mean? Except for it has all these other little bells and whistles. So that's what I do with like pretty much all my shit. It's a little thing, I guess, a little one-up once you test them and know that they work as intended, you know.
Oh,
Pretty
these
cool.
things freeze me at like the most inopportune moment.
Yeah. Good luck.
I'm gonna do it this time.
Okay.
Oh no, I have to like do some more of this shit. Maybe it's not over yet. Oh no, there's more of them. More of those little bastards.
Just don't know what I'm supposed to be.
Oops. You still hear me?
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, next quest is 63, so I'm working my way up too. I'm gonna catch up to you.
Maybe.
Maybe. Just kidding, no, you're gonna be ahead of me. But you're good if I did though. Then I can just buy all the mats and turn that in for the other
Wait,
one.
it says cast aspected benefic under the effect of nocturnal sect. There.
Oh, this must be a back way to the keep.
There, finish that part.
Oh, that's good. Congrats. I'm gonna have to do this.
There.
eventually.
Sleeve draw. Executes a draw, royal road spread,
Oh,
and
just
minor
for,
arcana or whatever in succession. Will not overwrite currently saved. Huh. I have no clue what that meant, but sure.
I got a lot of little side quests around here that are 61 too that I could be doing. I didn't realize that. I'm picking up all these little ones that have the shards too. I guess I could do this while I'm going on. It kind
It's
of.
real funny because, like,
What's funny? Oh. Interesting. I got a drone. I got some quest here. Okay, get this drone. This is one of the quests here. I'll get this here. Alright.
oops. I was gonna try on the entire scholar set because I never saw it before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, astrologer?
Okay, there you go.
God, it's already looking derpy. Oh, I like the chess piece. Is it dyeable? No, it's not dyeable, so I don't really like it that much. It's pretty-ish.
Oh, I gotta destroy these drones for this thing. Oh, there.
I think I like the shoes.
Oh, okay, I can.
I think.
This is cool. Look at these weapons. I like this thing. It actually shoots some pretty cool stuff. This is cool. I'm like
do not
blasting
like-
these things.
God, shit. It'd be so pretty if you could.
Hmm. What is it?
Oh, I wish you could change the color of the astrologian's
Okay.
outfit thing.
I'm supposed to
Because it's
sync?
pretty if you can make it look like a different color.
I see. Okay, cool. I did do it. This Mazatec shooting things out and got beams and stuff. It's pretty cool. I wish we could use this all the time like this. Like actually use it. Just be killing stuff. I think that's something they should add. This thing's actually gonna try to attack me?
BRB.
Can I
One
attack
sec,
him
I'll
with
check on
this?
food.
I wonder. Oh, it doesn't hurt him. I thought it would hurt him. Looks like it only works for the quest. They should make it where it hurts stuff. But I like this actually. Now that I'm rocking it, it kind of goes well with my gear I'm rolling. And I didn't realize how well it went. I'll rock this sometime, I guess.
Oh, hey, I need to make a call real fast.
All right. Thing's pretty cool. Kill those little buggers. Alright, so I guess I gotta head back. I'll just head back. Get these things over with. Pretty cool though. That's not cool. Let me look up something real quick. Okay, cool. I can put it down. Next got that one done. Let's see about the next one. I get any XP for that? Oh, I did. That's great. I'm gonna do all this shit then. Didn't get any XP for it. So I can... Might as well take advantage of that. This job. I had to trap him up. That was interesting. That was actually pretty interesting. They were actually pretty decent challenge. Okay, looks like these guys are trying to do this. It's gonna do all kind of shit. Just busting off. Brat. Brat. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Girl. Recover here. Okay, let's see. Let's continue this.
Play.
Okay, cool. That's it. Cool, I'm getting XP for this. That's good. Alright, so cool, what's in this area over here? Turn it right back in.
Good heavens, man, haven't you any righteous indignation?
Oh, doctor, you know, years ago, my mother used to say to me, she'd say, in this world, Elwood, you must be, she always called me Elwood. In this world, Elwood, you must be oh so smart, or oh so pleasant. Well, for years I was smart. I recommend pleasant. You may quote me.
3 quests done. Do the next one here. 65.
What is it you want, Barry? What do you want? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Yeah.
soon as it stops raining, you'll leave.
I hope that the rain will never stop.
What?
If it continues, I'll be able to stay here forever. That wasn't meant to be a joke.
Alright, well, looks like this is gonna be my my test here. Level 65, but I don't have any gear. So this will be interesting. Have all level 60 gear. So let's see, maybe I should get some gear for this one. This is definitely gonna be a thing. Oh fuck, this is level 67 actually. Probably should get some kind of. Let's see what I got. Let me head back and see exactly what I got. So I get some kind of gear. May not need it, but let's see if I got anything. We'll come back. 67. I need to be able to take some hits. Let's see. I have some on my NPC, on my retainers. Adjust some of these prices, I think, too. 17.
Don't worry.
Alright, we're gonna call it for now. I'll get back into this a little bit tomorrow. Peace.